Pop quiz. What is the best time of day to have sex? Now, before somebody answers all day, the answer is incorrect. Is it this time, or this time? Understand that each organ has a 2-hour period in which its energy is very focused. It's like a repair and maintenance schedule, and I prepared one for you that you can screenshot. And we're gonna go over each and every single one of those times so you can understand why you might be feeling a certain way during a particular time in the day. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., the stomach is at its highest energy, and it's one of the reasons why people in the East have a large breakfast. I'm not opposed to a large breakfast as long as you've had your bowel movement for the day and as long as you are not eating way into the hours of the nighttime, especially when the sun is down and you don't have the assistance from the sun to allow you to be able to break down your food, because if you eat a large meal at night, it puts stress on the stomach when the stomach is the weakest, and the stomach cannot process an overabundance of food, which will lead it to remain inside of your stomach, and over time it's going to cause issues like heartburn or acid reflux. So 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. is when the stomach is at its highest energy. Not opposed to breakfast. I'm just not used to having it, so I typically don't have anything to eat between 7 and 9 a.m., but I'm not opposed to it. The highest energy for the next organ is from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That is your spleen and your pancreas. And this is a time where there's a lot of assimilation of nutrients, and the spleen is very critical when it comes to having a lot of physical energy. The next time frame is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and this is the time for the heart. This is when the heart has its highest energy and it's able to pump a lot of nutrients all around your body. And that's where it's a good time to have lunch, around 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also understand that whenever an organ is at its highest energy, for instance, like the stomach, we'd already discussed, its highest energy is from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. The complete opposite, which is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., is when the stomach is at its weakest. Every organ has a high point, but it also has the weak point, which is typically the opposite of the energetic point. So that is why eating well into the evening time from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., also when the sun is down and we don't have the energy from the sun to help us break down our foods, these are not good times to eat due to these particular reasons. Especially now we have shorter days, which means your food schedule should be moved up, because you have to take into consideration that with the excessive nighttime, with the lack of daylight, you should be going to bed earlier to reserve your energy to wake up earlier. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. is when the small intestines is at its highest energy, so food eaten earlier is going to be completely digested and all the nutrients will be absorbed. The bladder is strongest from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So it's a good time to be drinking a lot of spring water or having a lot of teas or juices to further the detoxification in the body. If you notice yourself getting up anywhere between 3 and 5 a.m., that means your kidney and bladder channel are a little weak. And the ways to strengthen it is by having herbs that can strengthen the kidney and the bladder, or do an acupuncture for those particular meridians that's weak. The next set of organs is circulation sex. This includes your circulatory system, and this also includes your reproductive system. So having sex all day, well into the hours of the nighttime, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., understand that your organs are quite weak at these particular times, and it can weaken and break down your reproductive system to have sex excessively all throughout the days when the organs are not at its highest. And it's also the best time to conceive. Next up, we call the triple heater, and this is from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And the purpose of this particular area is to maintain a balance of temperature throughout your body, and it's located below the navel, right at the navel, and just below the sternum. This particular area should be the same temperature. If you notice it's like hot, cold, hot, there's an imbalance in that area. And like I said, acupuncture, teas, herbs can assist with that. Next up is the gallbladder from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. That is when the gallbladder is energetically at its highest point. The purpose of the gallbladder is to store and release bile so that you can have easier digestion, especially when it comes to breaking down the fats in a meal. So if you do go to bed early, let's say you go to bed at 9 p.m., it is a possibility that you will get up before midnight because your gallbladder is giving you issues with the amount of fatty or greasy or fried foods you just ate. So if you feel that particular area in your body, or if you do get up and you have some type of discomfort between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., it is a gallbladder issue and you need to cut back on your fried and fatty foods because you have to give it time to heal. If your gallbladder was removed, the gallbladder is still there energetically, so healing can continue to take place. And also, the gallbladder is associated with the particular emotion or the particular thing called decision making. If you have an issue with your gallbladder, you might also notice that you have an issue or that you're not able to make decisions. And this can keep you up well until 3 a.m. because the gallbladder and the liver are connected. Next, the liver energy is the highest between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. And this is when there's a lot of cleansing of the blood, restoring the chi. So you want to make sure that you are definitely asleep by 1 a.m. the latest. I would prefer you be to sleep by 11 p.m. But if you're asleep by 1 a.m., that's also great as well. And if you have an issue with sleep and you're getting up between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., that means that there is an issue with the liver, which can be caused due to some type of sluggishness, too much waste in the body. Liver needs to detoxify, can be done with herbs. Also, you want to incorporate massages and acupunctures. Next up is the colon. Colon's highest energy is from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And typically during this time, most people have a bowel movement unless you are not awake. If you get up after 7, maybe after 7:30, you should have a bowel movement. The moment maybe you drink some water, activate your digestive system, you should have a bowel movement, which is one of the reasons why I suggest if you don't have a bowel movement sometime between 5 a.m., 7 a.m., 7 a.m., and 8 a.m., then you shouldn't be having another meal because you're already dealing with the constipation. So even though breakfast between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. is great in the East, their particular lifestyle and the way that they eat is better than the Western lifestyle. So they don't deal with constipation as much. If you have not had a bowel movement, then your breakfast should not be between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. and honestly shouldn't be until after you have released the waste. And now for the skin and the mind, which are timeless workers. They don't stop working, so there is no appointed time frame of high energy for them because they are always on shift. All right, make sure you screenshot the highest energy. Pay attention to when you sleep. If there's a particular time that you always get up, oh my God, I almost forgot. The lungs, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. If you notice yourself waking up every time between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., maybe you're up between those exact times and you don't fall back asleep until 5 a.m., that means your lungs are weak. Energetically, it's weak. You want to take herbs that are going to assist with strengthening your lungs, like mullein or even marshmallow root, things like that. You want to strengthen your lungs. So if you notice that particular time you're up, that was happening to me a couple of months ago. I would be up from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. like clockwork, and I realized that my lungs were getting a little bit weak. So did a detox, strengthened my lungs, started doing breathing exercises, which I still do every morning. I breathe in for 4 seconds and I breathe out for 8 seconds because just like the CO2 test that I gave in the beginning, I'm working to strengthen my lungs and my CO2 tolerance. Don't forget, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. is the lungs. How could I forget you, especially now? So also take the screenshot, pay attention to particular times in the day that you might be feeling some type of discomfort, some type of issue, and correlate it with the chart. And if it's constant, that means that there is something going on with that organ and you want to treat that organ. It's the liver. If you're getting up from 1 to 3, it's the liver. If you're having an issue, if you're having a lot of stomach aches from 7 to 9, it's the stomach. If you're twisting and turning and you're having all of these issues from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., then it's your kidneys. Pay attention to the time, pay attention to your sleep pattern, Please be asleep by 10:30. Honestly, I went to bed at 9 p.m. last night and I feel so refreshed. I would prefer you go to sleep a little earlier during the time of the right after the circulation sex, which is the triple heater, to prep your body for the cleansing and the detoxification. Because you don't want to just go to bed at 11 p.m. when the gallbladder is supposed to be cleansed, and you want to be in bed by that time. But if you fall asleep very early, you could at least go to bed by 10 o'clock. No eating way into the late hours of the day. Don't do that. The stomach energy is at its lowest point. Remember, if it's strong from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., then from 1 a.m. to from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is when it's going to be at its weakest. Every organ has a high point. Every organ has a weakest point. All right. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Love you. Adios.